I know there was a survey conducted by the Journal of Pediatric Surgery in regard to burns. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, Dottie. This was a 5-year survey conducted by the Pediatric Surgery Association concerning severe injuries, burn injuries, to children 3 years of age and under. And according to the report, out of 472 patients treated for severe burns, 386 of them, or 81%, were treated for scalds.
For scalding alone. So that must be a major cause then of burns.
That's correct, and about 100% of those occurred in the home.
Wow. I know you brought some slides with you. Maybe we could take a look at some of those slides so that we have an idea exactly what you are talking about.
Okay, in this first slide right here in the upper left-hand corner, what we have is a child in the kitchen playing near the stove. What we try to show our groups, and especially our young parents and babysitters. Babysitters are not used to taking care of children, don't know the hazards around the home. In this upper left-hand corner here, we have a child unattended, first mistake, left alone in the kitchen. He's playing all of a sudden, and as you can follow it, in the upper right-hand corner, he sees his reflection in the stove. He starts playing around the stove, looks up, he's amused by the handle sticking out of the side of the pot, naturally, off the end of the stove, which is another hazard there, because he can reach up and pull it down, and consequently, in the bottom right-hand corner, you see the child doing just that. Pulling down that pot, which is probably a boiling water, soups, or whatever, and consequently pulling down upon himself.
Okay. What are some of the other causes of burns in the home?
Some of the other causes of burns in the home are children playing with matches, leaving the matches where a child can reach them. Also, as you see in the upper left-hand corner here in this slide, the upper right-hand corner, electrical wires hanging out. This particular slide here shows maybe a can opener or whatever, but if it was a coffee pot, a child can reach up, grab the cord, pull it down upon himself, or maybe bite into an electrical cord, which also can cause severe burns. The bottom left-hand corner of the slide here just shows a fireplace that does not have a screen or any kind of a guard in front of it, another hazard if a child is playing around it. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have caustic and flammable liquids that are left around the home, many times underneath the sink. Again, a child may be playing around them, may drink it, cause themselves severe burns, poison, or whatever. Okay,
you can do something about the electrical wiring laying around. You can camouflage that some way so the child doesn't see that. But what do you do for hot water? Suppose a child's going to take a shower or a bath, and maybe the child might not be just preschool age. Maybe they happen to be 8, 9 years old where they can be in a tub by themselves. How do you prevent the scalding from happening?
Okay, many times children that are burned throughout the country, the average stay, let me say this, the average stay in the hospital for a child that's burned is at least 17 days, okay? And one of the ways that we can prevent, let's say, being burned in a tub is, first off, never leave the child unattended. Again, referring back to the babysitters, they may get a phone call, not used to having taken care of a child that much. You're going to leave a child alone, the child reaches up, grabs the hot water faucet, and hot water's poured in the tub.
And they don't realize it's the hot water faucet?
That's correct. Right. In some states, it's a requirement. Let's say for institutions such as hospitals, daycare centers, nursing homes, housing for the elderly, that they install what they call a scald guard valve. It's installed right in the plumbing that allows only so much hot water to be mixed with the cold water to keep the temperature at a safe level. Okay. It's installed at each facility where the patients or residents may be taking their showers or bath. Also, you can get a more elaborate type system that you can buy from your hardware supply, whoever that may be, where it's a complete system of shower, faucet, handles, and it's installed right in the bathroom itself.
I know there's some of the slides that you brought with us. Do you have a slide of this, what did you call it, a scald guard valve?
Scald guard valve, yes, that's correct. This slide right here shows the child that's in the hospital. And I'd like to say at this point that 20% of all these children require skin grafts when they go into the hospital.
Wow.
This here is a slide of the valve that I made mention to. It's installed right in the plumbing. And this is a coil type. These are all thermostatically controlled valves, again, allowing only so much hot water to go through, mixing with the cold water to keep it a safe temperature.
Okay. Now, I know that as far as children getting burned as far as scalding goes. All right, they're going to be in the hospital and hospitalized. What about the matches and so forth that the children play with, and their clothing catches on fire?
That's correct. These are other types of burns, too, as we mentioned earlier. A child playing with matches. By the way, children playing with matches are the #1 cause of fire, residential-type fires by children. And one thing we want to keep away from, and that's this slide right here, is that the clothing can burn, and this 3-year-old child's dead.
Wow.
And needless to say, the baby was burned very severely.
Wow. Now, I know there's a law requiring now that sleepwear be fire resistant or fire retardant. Is there a difference there?
That's the same terminology.
Okay.
But that's correct. In some areas of the country, children under 7 years of age, it's a requirement that the sleepwear be a fire retardant type that's being sold in your department stores.
Okay. But the thing of it is now, children are not always wearing sleepwear. They're wearing other clothing as well. What do they do if their clothing catches on fire? What is something to point out to them?
One of the fire safety tips we teach the students in school that can apply to everybody: stop, drop, and roll.
Okay.
And in this slide here I have shows a child. This is an older child here. We teach them the first thing to do is cover your face. We don't want the flames to get up to your face. If your clothes do catch on fire, drop down to the ground and roll that fire out. What we tell the kids in school, first off, we tell them what a fire is, the 3 components of a fire, and one of them being air. So we tell the students, this is what we want to eliminate. Suffocate that fire out. Now, let's say it's a younger child, a baby that's clothing caught on fire, and again, the young parent or babysitter, and the child would not know stop, drop, and roll. It's up to us to stop that child from running, and of course, do not pick up the child and try to run to a sink, because you're adding that air, forcing the fire to get worse. We want to stop that child where it's at, put it down, maybe cover it with a heavy blanket, a heavy coat, or pad that fire out.
Real good. All right, now suppose the children, their clothing is not on fire, but yet there's fire people coming into the home, firemen coming into the home. They look like monsters. Look at your slide. Now, that to me does look like a monster, especially with the Star Wars movies and things that they have come out with recently, and the large masks over their head and so forth.
That's correct, Dottie. One thing we try to get across again to our parents is, first off, in case a child is ever involved in a structure that's on fire, do not hide from the fire. Do not run inside the closet. Do not hide underneath the bed or underneath the sheets, figuring if the fire doesn't see you, you know, if you don't see the fire, the fire won't see you. That's not correct. We tell them they have to get out of the house. Get themselves and everyone else out, yell on fire, get outside to a safe location, a predetermined location.